All right, and after all those emotions with the dynamic four-way finals, did you watch them, Randy?
I did. I did. It was amazing.
I cried. We are back with the live action with the finals of the 8-way formation skydiving, the 8-way challenge that was added to this World Championship as a test event to kind of see how it works and how much interest it got. And hopefully this is a success, and we can hope to see more 8-way in the future in FAI sanctioned competition.
That would be awesome.
So, round 10. Can you run through that draw?
Sure. Round 10 of 8-way is H2112. This is the Iroquois, followed by the stereopod block, followed by stereo bipole. This is a moderately technical block. Iroquois has a challenge in that it's 50% of the formation is a compressed accordion, which has a very slow fall rate. And so we're trying to match it up. It basically builds as a great big D. And the stereopods, competitors tend to either really love or hate the stereopods, but it's a modestly technical block, but not overly so. Stereo bipoles is pretty straightforward, especially because there are no limitations on the turn direction, and it's not even that far to go.
All right. Well, anyway, unfortunately, it seems like the podium is quite set for this discipline.
I think so.
If we look at the score after round 9, we have in 6th position Poland with 185. Then we have United Kingdom with 194. And then a big step forward with the 4th place Qatar, 263, 7 points behind the Russian Federation with 270. We've had up till the middle of the round of the meet quite a tight battle between Qatar and Russia, but Russia has really been pushing it forward on the last few rounds and is now 7 points ahead. It's very unlikely that this is going to be shaken up. And then in 2nd position, we have France with 280 points, 8 points behind the American with 288.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure you were sitting with me on one of those first rounds in 8-way, and you were announcing the intention of the American to burn it, smash it, don't quite remember, but that was pretty warrior. And I guess it is safe to say that they've done just that.
Yep. With an 8-point lead going into the last round, the French would have to have a truly magnificent round on top of a fairly serious mistake by the Americans, which the combination of those two would be highly unusual. So it's not impossible, but I would not, if I were a betting man, I don't know that I'd be putting money on France right now.
It seems unlikely.
As microclimate, the team from the UK is headed into the second page of their dive. They're doing okay here. The stereopods don't necessarily fit well into a tunnel, but it does fit. But you've got to play with the angles a little bit. And they've got a reasonable pace going here. They're not rushing. I think they just want to finish with as clean as they can and feel good about their own performance and be ready to call it a day.
All right, and that's it for the UK microclimate flying their last round in this 8-way challenge, I guess is how it's been called.
Yep, 8-way challenge.
And Weembi is, we were having Thomas Perrin with us earlier, one of the owner of this tunnel, and him and his partners designed this tunnel, decided to go for a 17-footer for one of the main reasons behind this decision, which economically speaking doesn't make the most sense when a wind tunnel makes most of his money with first-timers to have something so big. But they're all former competitor, or most of them are former competitors in 8-way. They have a deep love for this discipline, and I think it is quite an amazing reason to be getting into a business venture for.
Yeah.
And it is super nice. They've been organizing a competition called the Weembi Lille over the last few years, where they host an 8-way meet, which is very well attended.
Yes. And it's well regarded throughout the international circuit.
I would think so, and I guess one of the difficulty of putting teams together is the human factor, and when you have to do it within your own country, it can sometimes becomes a little bit more tricky. One of the success of the 8-way Weembi Challenge is that a lot of those teams are not necessarily all coming from the same country. It is easier to put a team together, especially on this side of the world. We're in France right now, but we're extremely close to Belgium. There's a lot of drop zones, a lot of tunnel around this area, a lot of flyers, and I guess putting together a team, it wouldn't be surprising to have a Belgium, a French, a Luxembourg, and a Netherlands all in one team.
And there's been a lot of conversation about international teams at the IPC recently, or I should say multinational teams. And currently the commission isn't willing to take that under serious consideration. But there's a part of me that would like the commission to stop and just think about that a little harder.
Yeah,
maybe not change it ultimately, but at least actually stop and consider it.
Yeah, actually, the dynamic community would really appreciate that, because it was definitely one of the difficult integration of four-way, especially dynamic four-way, into an FAI sanctioned meet. Because the way it works in our community is a lot of the team are born in a tunnel, and it's not necessarily only locals and nationals working in this tunnel. We actually have very often international teams of instructors and coach, and you build your team with the people you usually work with. Yep. At least in our community, it works like that a lot. Yep. And I was the first one to be a victim of that problem, because my team Joyrider had actually 4 different nationalities in it. The latest lineup, we had Israel, Norway, France, and America. That didn't quite fly to try to go to a world meet.
Yep.
All right. Are they going to do it? Yes, lay out the door with the booty, respect. Nice one, Russia. All right, and next up we have France 8, the local team. As we were talking about earlier, this is a one-shot team. It has been put together solely for this competition, unlike the American team, who you told me earlier had the intention of carrying on and then trying to be the official USA team, both indoor and outdoor in that way.
Yes, that is their goal. The French have started with a fast pace here. They're clearly going to do everything they can to catch up. That kind of heart is what absolutely defines a true competitor.
Getting into this last round, knowing that there's not really anything you can do to change the ranking, but still fly as fast as you can, just for the sake of being proud of yourself, I guess.
Exactly. And if they fly fast, it's clean, they have a good round, then all they have to hope for is the Americans to make a mistake.
Could that happen?
It can always happen.
It can always happen, I guess.
Would I consider it likely? Well, no. But
probably
possible,
not.
Yes.
Everything is possible. All right, and that's the end of the time. They're going to bring it in for a hug, because that is the end of one adventure for them. That was the last time they flew together as an 8-way team, since they only formed for that competition and will most likely not fly together with this exact lineup in the future.
Massive respect.
Yeah, for a one-shot team, tickling such a team of legends coming from the States, it's very honorable, I would say.
Absolutely.
All right, and last but not least, USA. XP8, I think it's the name,
yes.
Named after the tunnel that is supporting them, Paraclete
Yes.
XP in North Carolina.
Correct.
Who was also one of my sponsors for a while with Joyriders. I've had some really, really fond memory of this tunnel. It's got to be my favorite tunnel in the US.
And looking at that pace, they're not letting down either.
I guess it must be a comfortable feeling to be able to just throw down on the last round, because you know that you can't quite, nothing too bad can happen.
Yeah.
All right, and that is the end of the working time for the States. They are probably going to bring in it for a hug as well. Yep, nope, maybe. High fives. Keep motivation high. And that concludes our FS8 World Test, actually, test event.
World
Challenge, let's call it that. And we are actually going to take a quick 5-minute break before we go back to freestyle, since we have a tiebreaker situation. So we'll go into a short break and we will